Understanding the Green River Killer's Mind, Gary Ridgway's Horrifying Legacy. Welcome to The Most Evil, where we delve into the minds of history's most notorious serial killers. Today we dig into the chilling story of Gary Ridgway, the notorious Green River Killer. Come along as we investigate the devastating impact he left on the people of Washington State and reveal the dark secrets behind his horrific murders. The chaotic and unstable early years of Gary Ridgway's life shaped the man who would go on to become one of the most infamous serial killers in American history. Born on February 18, 1949, in Salt Lake City, Utah, Ridgway was raised in a violent home where there were a lot of fights and hardships with money. Ridgway made an effort to keep things somewhat normal in spite of the difficulty at home by going to church frequently and doing well at school. Beneath this exterior, though, was a disturbed young man battling sinister impulses and unsettling visions. An obsession with death and violence characterized Ridgway's adolescence, which showed up in unsettling habits like torturing animals. His persistent difficulties in relationships and at work as an adult fueled feelings of bitterness and inadequacy. In the midst of his chaotic childhood and brewing mental anguish, Gary Ridgway was revealed as a man of unimaginable wickedness, destined to wreak devastation on the world and leave a lasting legacy. Ridgway went on a terrifying murderous rampage in the 1980s and 1990s, specifically going after weaker women and girls in Washington State. His prey, who were mostly runaways and prostitutes, were seduced into his grasp by deceptive pretenses and suffered cruel, untimely ends. During his terrifying period of terror, Ridgway is known to have killed 49 people, making him one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. The technique by which Gary Ridgway carried out his crimes was both calculating and terrifying, demonstrating the depth of his depravity and the careful thought that went into them. Ridgway preyed on weaker women and girls, frequently prostitutes or in hiding, whom he saw as easy prey. Ridgway preyed on disadvantaged individuals by prowling the streets throughout the 1980s and 1990s, mostly in the state of Washington. He lured his victims into his car under the pretense of offering them a ride or money in exchange for sexual favors by using his charming and amiable manner to win their trust. Once isolated, Ridgway's facade of charm would fall apart, and his true nature as a sadist would come to show. He would frequently use ligatures or his bare hands to strangle his victims to death before disposing of their remains in isolated forested regions or by the banks of the Green River. For years, Ridgway eluded detection by blending into society and avoiding suspicion, which puzzled law officials and instilled fear in the hearts of the locals. His ability to stay one step ahead of investigators by hiding his tracks and evading detection was made possible by his meticulous attention to detail and familiarity with police procedures. Even with so many crimes committed, Ridgway was ultimately captured because to advances in DNA technology and unrelenting investigative effort. He was detained and accused of several murders in 2001 when DNA evidence clearly linked him to the crimes. Over several decades, numerous local, state, and federal law enforcement authorities worked together to investigate Ridgway's crimes. Investigators persisted in their quest for justice in the face of early defeats and false leads, using cutting-edge forensic technology and profiling methodologies to reduce the number of potential suspects. The arrest of Gary Ridgway was a turning point in the fight for justice for his innumerable victims and their families. The Green River Killer was relentlessly pursued by law enforcement, despite his cunning and ability to avoid detection for years. The case made significant progress in 2001 when investigators were able to match Ridgway's DNA to evidence gathered from multiple crime locations, thanks to technological advancements in DNA analysis. With this vital piece of information, the authorities were able to secure an arrest warrant for Ridgway. Gary Ridgway was arrested by the police on November 30, 2001, as he was leaving the Kenworth Truck Company in Renton, Washington. The town was shocked by the arrest, and the families of Ridgway's victims, who had suffered years of doubt and suffering, were relieved. Ridgway first denied any role in the killings during interrogation, but as the evidence against him grew, he eventually admitted to the crimes. Ridgway revealed the depth of his wickedness in a shocking admission by giving thorough explanations of his crimes. As part of a plea agreement that saved him the death penalty in exchange for assisting the authorities in finding the remains of his victims, Ridgway entered a guilty plea to 48 charges of murder in 2003. After that, he received a life sentence without the chance of release. Law enforcement agencies' unwavering determination and dedication in their relentless pursuit to bring Gary Ridgway to justice resulted in his capture. Even though Ridgway's reign of terror had finally come to an end, the horrific wounds he had caused would remain for years to come, acting as a chilling reminder of the dangers lurking around every corner. Gary Ridgway's mental state is still being researched and speculated about extensively. In an effort to comprehend the thoughts of a serial killer, psychologists have examined his complex motivations, relationships, and difficult childhood. Ridgway's ability to pass like a normal person while controlling his wicked tendencies is a terrifying reminder of how ordinary evil can be. The towns Gary Ridgway tormented have the scars of his horrific and depressing legacy. His story provoked national indignation and led to changes in law enforcement procedures, especially in the areas of victim advocacy and missing people investigations. Ridgway's atrocities have a lasting effect that changes society for all time as they ripple through the generations. His reign of terror highlighted the threats posed by sly people hiding in the shadows and revealed the weaknesses of underprivileged populations. After learning more about Gary Ridgway's life and misdeeds, we are left feeling incredibly depressed and shocked. The severity of his crimes and his ability to elude arrest for such a long time serve as a terrifying reminder of the darkness that exists within the human psyche. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content on true crime and psychological analysis. Remember to stay vigilant, and until next time, stay safe.